3, 2, and 1. Hello again. It's Sunday, March 4th, 8 p.m. EST. My name's Edwin Moles. This guy over here is Chili. What's up? We're here for another round, another match in the Ryze Up 2012 tournament quarterfinals. That's right. For the very last Ryze bracket. This is between teams TKS and Udderly Smooth.
Udderly.
Udderly.
Not utterly.
Not at all. Nope. These are definitely some cow aficionados we have here. And we'll go ahead and pop into the main screen here. We'll actually keep ourselves down here. I like this split anyway. And we're in the lobby right now. Edwin Moles and Chili down there. Hanging out in the spectator slots. But over here we have Team 1 for blue. Right now is TKS. That's Tofu, Diend, Balls, Rec, and Luminios. And over there on Team 2, we have 4 of the members of Utterly Smooth. The last one's having a little bit of problems right now. But we have Kenpachi, Huckett, Oogasplat. That one's going to get me all night. Oogasplat. And Primal Urge!
All caps.
Because when you do that with your name, that's how you pronounce it in your head. You look at that.
It's yelling.
You look at that and you think Primal, you know. Anyway, looks like we might have to remake the game. And of course, we'll fall victim again to starting the video and then having to wait like 20 minutes before actually getting into the game. And I'm not even exaggerating. It actually has been 20 minutes before. But looks like Oogasplat says might have to remake. Tofu says no. Just no.
This is it.
We're not doing it. When that timer runs out, we're done. Match point, set game. Love. Alright, so this is the Ryze Up 2012 tournament. If you don't know anything about it, then you're freaking crazy, but I'll actually go ahead and tell you. It's a tournament hosted by lawreport.com, and it is specifically for teams that at the time of registration were below a certain threshold of ELO. So it's specifically for people who've had less experience with competitive play. And it's been a lot of fun following a couple teams through this tournament. Team Spaghetti Cat we cast last night versus Hot Cocoa. It was a great best of 3. It was really entertaining, wasn't it?
It was great fun. These are the quarterfinal matches, is that right?
That's right. So we're actually narrowing it down from 8 teams to 4 right now. We did start with 256.
That's a lot of teams.
We've come a long way, yeah. It was 16 brackets of 16 people each, for a total of 256, and we're almost down to 4, and that's incredible. Looks like we're remaking. Now we have to be entertaining.
I can't do it.
I'm pretty tired right now, and you know why? I suffer from chronic. There's nothing to watch on the screen, so I'll just go back to us. Suffer from chronic, and by the way, I'm totally making this up, but basically I have giant food comas after I eat. I get the food baby. I get pregnant with the food, and then my body it doesn't want to do anything else. It just wants to digest. It's very single-minded. It's just like we're not doing anything else. So that's what happens to me. I just had some jambalaya at my dad's house.
That sounds good.
It was delicious. It was so good. It's very spicy too, so I know you like that a lot, Chili. He's named Chili for a reason.
It's true.
And it doesn't have to do as much with the country.
It doesn't.
No. So stop emailing him.
But
please.
stop friending me.
Stop friending him. That's more to do with the spiciness. But anyway, the jambalaya was delicious, and I was so full, and I was sitting up at my dad's about an hour and a half ago, just thinking to myself, oh my god, I have to be awake and energetic for this cast in an hour and a half. And it was kind of short notice too, and I was like willing myself to digest this delicious shrimp gumbo as quickly as possible.
An hour and a half. That's a lot of notice.
What?
I had half an hour's notice.
Well, I mean, I gave you as much as I had. Anyway, so we'll go back to the screen now. We have
maybe it's Prima Lurge.
Prima Lurge?
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think so, because the L isn't capitalized.
I think
the urge is.
That's a red herring. I'd like Prima Lurge.
What if it's capital I? What if it's Prima Urge? Or Prima 1 Urge?
Well,
which would actually make sense, of course, prime etymologically being associated with 1. Is that a word, etymologically?
Yes,
as
I think so.
Etymology? Okay.
I think you're good. Huckett. Is it Frisbee?
English class with Edwin Moles and Chili.
Also casting, but that's not important.
Also casting, but it's not very important. Looks like we have all members of... Wait, no we don't. Primal Urge is right now, he's pretending to be a member of TKS, and now Balls in his... Oh, now they're stuck. Guys, oh no. What are you doing? Oh, no, we have somebody real. Luminios, real. That just happened.
These teams are getting random now. We'll just have all 5 members of each team's in.
It's actually not a team match. It's just 10 people, and then you just switch them around.
We could play, and they could cast.
That's right. They might end up in the caster slot. It's actually lucky that we've ended up at the same place twice in a row.
Yeah. Some declining. Or are we just trying to get everyone who should be on the same team on the same team?
If you are watching this on YouTube, you will have already seen. And first of all, if you've gotten this far, then more power to you. Because I'm pretty sure you skipped to where the game started. But I will have flashed a nice caption. I will have flashed a nice caption at the beginning. It will show you when the bans and picks actually started occurring. This is tournament draft, of course. They're not doing it in chat. If you're at all familiar, this is one thing that I've been doing a lot. I feel like when we cast a lot, we're of course tailoring the cast to the demographic of people who are familiar with competitive League, or at least have played it quite a bit. So it's not really for a new player, or certainly not to somebody who's never played the game before. So let's take a little bit of time before the game now to kind of tone it back down. And if you have never played this game, or if you play other esports but not League of Legends, maybe we can help illuminate a little bit more what this game is all about. It is, of course, a 5-on-5 team game, and these players are going to pick from a host of champions that Riot Games have composed. So they have all these different champions they can pick. It is, of course, based off of the original Warcraft 3 mod Dota. And then they're going to go out head-to-head against each other in a 3-laned map that includes AI-controlled creeps, as well as neutral creeps in the jungle. I know I'm throwing a lot of terms right now, but it becomes pretty evident when you're actually watching the game. And they're going to basically build items, gain levels, and eventually try to destroy the opponent's nexus, which is kind of this home base that's buried back in their side of the map. And so there's a lot to do in League of Legends that has to do with positioning and what items you buy, and team roles where they kind of work in the team composition, as they would call it, often abbreviated to team comp, how their team comp works together. It's just like with anything else, if you're familiar with games like Final Fantasy Tactics or other tactical strategic games like that, you will not want to have a team of 6 spellcasters or something like that. Dragon Age would be another example. You kind of need somebody to take the damage and then other people to deal it out. Those kind of roles are absolutely evident. World of Warcraft, there you go. That's the perfect example, I would say. Those kind of roles are absolutely evident in League of Legends. And these players who actually, they play and they practice with their team, and they practice a lot. What they're trying to do over time is to develop themselves as individual roles. So they get somebody that ends up being a really, really good damage dealer, or somebody who's really good tank, and then they kind of specify in those roles and within their team to try to improve their coordination. So they always kind of have this good idea of where a particular member is supposed to be positioned and what they're supposed to be doing at any particular point in time. So that was kind of a little bit of spiel about this. It's a very strategic game. It requires tons of coordination, and it really requires both that you know the game and that you know your teammates, which I think is a great element to it. Because while I'm a huge fan of StarCraft, and I think that StarCraft 1-on-1s are epically intense and incredibly cool, there is obviously a missing element in teamwork, and it is fun to then go to League of Legends after StarCraft and see how a team can work together in these different personalities, going towards an end goal of trying to win this game.
Yeah, I think teamwork's almost more important than anything else. Well, if you can tell if you have a team that's really working together, like it just flows.
It's an essential element. You can see when they all respond in the same way that they actually have. I mean, these people can talk to each other. Obviously, they're using a voice over IP kind of software like Skype or Mumble or Ventrilo or something like that, so they can communicate with each other. But you can tell some of the decisions that they make on the fly. They just know what to do. They know how each other react to situations, and they all immediately will turn on a dime and make a decision. Maybe they'll try to take an enemy turret, or they'll pick off an enemy champion, or go for an objective on the map like Baron, Nashor, or the Dragon. And that's just knowledge of how each other play. It's an essential element. Obviously, you have to have technical skill. You have to have the ability to micromanage your character very well, and you need to have a good idea of what to buy and stuff like that. But anyway, it's been a really fun tournament to cast. League of Legends is a super fun game to play. If you don't play it for whatever reason, you're a boss for watching this. I think it's very cool that you'd be watching this if you've never even played League of Legends. And if you haven't, go ahead and check it out at LeagueofLegends.com. It has a prefix NA for the North American servers if you do live in the US or Canada.
And it's free.
And it's free. You can download it for free, make an account. You'll start a summoner profile, which will actually level up on its own. It has an element of metagame in that respect. And then you get to, play with all these champions, and they have weekly rotations where you can try out new champions as you level up. And it's absolutely awesome. It's a really, really fun game, great experience. and it's super fun to play with your friends. I seriously, there's no better way to get introduced to the game than to be playing with your friends. So invite them as well, and then make games and have fun. Make parties too. Unfortunately, League of Legends is primarily, or is exclusively online, so you cannot LAN it like you could older games like Warcraft or Starcraft. But you can, of course, you can always just get together and play in the same connection, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we're still looking at the game here. Unfortunately, we have some chat going on. I haven't really been paying attention.
We lost Balls to you.
We lost we lost Balls, who actually is the AD carry player. So speaking about roles, this guy his name is Balls. You can actually see him over here. Balls to you. He plays a ranged physical damage character for his team. We'll be seeing him pick up that character as soon as he gets back in the lobby before we start the game. And RecV does say it's any minute now, so I hope you enjoyed that little spiel about League of Legends and what it's all about. Both Chili and I, we play the game, we also cast the game.
It's true.
It helps to play the game.
It does.
So you actually know what you're talking about.
Sort of learn from that.
Yeah, I have brought one of my friends on before, whose name is what alias did he go under? I can't remember his alias right now, but he came on. He's not a League of Legends player, and it was fun to have him pretend to BS the knowledge. It's really funny.
Oh, he's in.
All right. Ball's saying best internet. That's right, because when you're online, anybody of you who are familiar with online games, of course, the constant excuse for anything you could possibly ever do wrong is lag or the internet.
Sometimes it's even true.
Sometimes.
Oh, here we go.
Most people would say that normally it's not, but
yeah.
Anyway,
sometimes it's an excuse for something else.
So game name remake OP. I like it.
If you're talking about for new people as well, we've got banning phase first, where each team has 3 choices for champions they can ban. Neither team can pick them.
And actually, we can go ahead and scroll down. You can see right here this huge line of champions. This actually is not all of them.
It's a lot of them, though.
But it is a huge number of champions. All of these are individual characters that a player will choose to play for a match, and during the duration of that game, they can't play a different character. So that they're stuck with that character. So they have to really make important and intelligent decisions before the game even starts. So this is a huge part of the game. Right now, teams are actually not even picking champions. They're taking one step, kind of backwards. They're banning champions. They're saying that this champion cannot be played this game by either team. And so we have TKS over on blue team. We have
Udderly Smooth,
excuse me, on purple team, and we see that TKS right now is banned Shaco. Shaco's kind of an assassin jungler type character who actually does not spend much time in the lane. He'll actually start out in the jungle picking up important buffs and then trying to assassinate enemy champions. We actually have quite a lot of jungles banned. We have Rammus, Shaco, and then Shen and Fiora who can be played as junglers. And then we have Kennen and Kassadin who are these mages. They spellcasters that usually go in the middle of the lane, Kennen and Kassadin. But I would like to point out, I don't want to spend too much time, with the basics, because there are a lot of people that watch this that kind of know what's going on. Sure. So Tofu was immediately locked in with Cassiopeia. Chili, you actually didn't get a chance to cast TKS before, right?
I've never seen them play before. So.
All right, this would be a great experience. I'd love to see your initial reactions to their play style. Tofu was immediately locked in with Cassiopeia, who's a very aggressive AoE spam-based and damage over time-based AP carry. And he really enjoys that play style. I'm interested to see how Tofu ends up taking that mid. He's very confident, obviously. That's kind of his play card. This is a best of 3. You should know. It's very important to know. So this one game will not decide the entire match. To win 2 games to win the match. So for the first game of a best of 3, it's often important for the team to just kind of bring their A game. No funny stuff, no tricky things, just kind of like...
No gimmicks.
No gimmicks, exactly. Play what you think is going to do well, what you've practiced a lot, what you're very comfortable with, and just do it the best you can. And in doing so, you'll get a good measure of where you think you stand against the opponents in terms of skill and coordination and such.
I mean, these teams want to win. Like, if they win this one, they're in the semifinals.
They've gotten through 5 rounds. 5 rounds of a single elimination tournament. So they have not had a chance. They have not had an inch with which to mess up. They've been on their A game for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Every weekend playing a match. Some more picks are right now happening. Udderly Smooth was pretty confident with our picks. They kind of picked them fairly fast. The Sona has been huge recently. Yeah. Sona, who is arguably one of the strongest support characters in the game. Arguably the strongest support character in the game. Sona Skarner, who's a strong suppression CC-based jungler. And then Rumble and Ziggs, which I am so excited for. Ziggs is a great champ. He's really fun to watch. He makes for really awesome plays. But also Rumble. We haven't really seen a Rumble in a long time.
No, and that you probably means double AP as well, which is perhaps not a standard.
Well, Rumble's a tanky AP. I mean,
yeah, but
he contributes a lot of magic damage, obviously. But I can just see in my mind's eye a Skarner pull into a Sona line alt with the Rumble alt line right down on top of that with the Ziggs on top. Like that's a really, really nice flow to the team.
That's a lot of CC as well.
It's a lot of CC.
And there's barely any on
It's a
this
lot
side.
of burst and damage over time AoE ability. So Udderly Smooth really setting them up to win some team fights and get some nice picks. Meanwhile, Deanna has picked up Janna. We've seen Deanna play Janna before. He's very comfortable with that. Rekvi picking up Sivir. I actually can't remember right now whether or not he's played Sivir before, but I feel like Sivir is one of those champions that is pretty standard, like most AD carry players will be comfortable playing Sivir. Luminios actually, right now he's grabbing Fiddlesticks. Well, it remains to be seen if he'll actually stay with that, but Fiddlesticks haven't seen him at all yet in this tournament.
Jungle Fiddles.
I love Jungle Fiddles. Jungle Fiddles, it can be such a hit or miss play. It's really fun, well, obviously to see when he hits, for those big ultimates, of course. But instead, Luminios decides to switch out to a more comfortable Maokai.
That's probably safer.
Yeah.
Oh,
and now, unfortunately, we've actually had somebody leave.
What did Tofu say?
He was talking about balls, but that was earlier.
Okay.
I was talking for a while, and I think I missed his PMs.
That was him again.
Oh, he DC. Well, he's actually still in the game. Looks like Rekfi took the bullet for him, so to speak, and dodged the game. So actually, at this point, it's very likely that I'm going to separate the YouTube video into the before the game and the game itself. So if you're watching this, more power to you. Thanks for watching us talking a lot.
So it looks like they're just finishing off the picks in chat now since they only had a couple left.
Okay, so we had the last pick. Looks like for the last pick for Udderly Smooth was the AD carry. They actually saved that for last, and they did pick up Graves, who's a very strong AD carry.
That's really their only AD too. If we're talking about Rumble and the other one, Ziggs, is that right?
Yep, only AD really. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, after the Maokai pick for Luminios, it looks like the AD carry for TKS was picked up the top lane for TKS was picked up as Irelia. So I'm just trying to imagine right now we have something really to look at right now. So we'll go to the camera. We have Irelia and Rumble top lane. Oh, probably Rumble, but almost definitely. Cassiopeia and Ziggs mid lane. A Maokai jungle versus a Skarner jungle. And then it's a Janna Sivir versus a Graves. Ooh, looks like we're leaving the game. Versus a Graves Sona. That's right. So a healing support versus a non-healing support, and the healing support actually is paired with an AD carry that has quite a lot of burst damage. Not that Sivir doesn't at all, but it's going to be a very interesting bot lane, and interesting mid lane, considering that Ziggs can be very aggressive, or fairly passive.
And they're both skill shots.
Yep. Well, they're positioning based. Cassiopeia is not a skill shot, but it acts in a similar way. It depends on where you are, certainly. And looks like we're back in the game. I'll go ahead and switch back over to the camera, or to the main screen. And here we are, getting back into the game. Hopefully these players will go to their respective sides before we have that kind of conflict again. And there's Luminios going over, Huckett going over. Rekvi needs to jump into the final slot for TKS. He needs to move. Rekvi. Click and drag. I wish I could just pull him down.
We just put down as a tournament draft, despite the fact that they have all their picks.
Well, I'm sure they'll just lock in their bans quickly.
Hopefully.
And we'll get this going as soon as we can. Chili, if you want to man the camera for a second, I'm going to go get some water.
Alright.
I'll be right back.
Are you going to fill up mine as well?
Yeah, I got you.
It's like half full. Ooh. Hello. Oh, hang on. Going out again.
Did they invite me?
I will make sure that you get in.
Thanks.
Appears that we have once again dropped. I think they're going back to blind pick, so it's just nail the picks and bans right away.
Well, this is just a relax. This is a relaxed cast. We feel no real great need to start the game. Within 30 minutes of us actually being in lobby or anything like that at all. Nah.
Oh, we're blind pick now, so maybe we'll just go right in.
Just hanging out here.
Need to switch to spectating.
I do. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now.
All right.
I would like to point something out. I feel bad because I tend to be a guy who in his chair. I don't know if you do this when you play. I sit up really straight, but Chili kind of slouches. Also, Chili's sitting in a shorter chair. So what I'm gonna show you right now is the actual comparison. Because if I slouch, and then I make my chair the same height, yeah, you can see that he's actually like ridiculously taller than I am. He's kind of a beanpole, and I think it's so funny that the way the chairs are set up and the way that we sit makes me look so much taller. It's the first time I've ever been taller than Chili in my whole life. I feel empowered. I'm not going to get much taller, man. I'm pretty much done.
I want to hit 7 feet.
7 foot?
By tomorrow.
Oh my god, that reminds me. Play some basketball, right? No, so I was at my dad's house, and first of all, my stepmother's, she's hilarious. She's so funny, and she got a sweater from my dad a long time ago that was supposed to say Penn State basketball. But she wasn't really paying attention, and so she got a sweatshirt that was instead Penn's Valley, which is a high school district near State College, where we go to school. Penn's Valley, and it didn't say basketball. It actually, and I kid you not, it was printed to say basketball. BASEKTBLLL. I don't know how that managed to occur, but apparently the guy who printed the shirt was like, yeah, it's totally fine. Basketball.
Did you wear it?
Huh?
Did you wear the shirt?
He was wearing it tonight. I mean, that's a funny guy. We have the Trolls Twitch right now for Kenpachi, but he switches over to Rumble, and we'll have these guys locked in pretty quickly, hopefully, so we can get into this game. Balls, sporting the Clarity. I'm pretty sure he's going to be changing that one. Clarity is a very, very, very rarely used summoner spell. Pretty arguably not very strong, and for good reason, I would say. But let's actually get a good handle on what roles these individual guys are going for. So, I mean, TKS, I'm familiar with them, but just for you, Chili, and for everyone else, Tofu is their AP mid carry. Balls is playing their AD carry bot. Luminios is their jungle. Diend is their support, and Rek is going to be playing top lane solo. Over on Udderly Smooth, we have Kenpachi on top lane solo. Well, actually, this is important. It's picked up a teleport instead of Ignite. That's definitely going to come into play this game. Huckett is on jungle. Primal Urge is on AD carry, Uga Splat, AP carry, and Upside is support.
I don't know why I think that's funny.
Well, because it implies, it makes it sound like there should be something afterwards. Like Upside Down, or...
Maybe that's it.
Actually, that's the only thing I think.
Like Primal Urge, though.
Primal Urge is great. Absolutely. Or Upside Down Pineapple Cake, which is actually delicious. And despite the fact that I'm still full from jambalaya, now I want pineapple Upside Down cake.
What about apple cake?
I love apple cake. In fact, Chili can tell you, I may have a problem with apple cake, actually. A little bit of an addiction. It's a weird kind of cake. A lot of people have never heard of an apple cake. You know what? I'm going to stop talking about it. Listen.
We're almost ready to go.
We're almost ready to go. We'll actually eliminate it. Actually, we'll keep ourselves down there. Why not? I like this shirt. It's got this cool graphic design. I like Chili. He's got this cool graphic design.
It's just blue.
No, you.
Oh.
As a person.
Yeah.
You English film double major. You. Crazy man with the skills, the creativity. He wants to be the very best.
Oh, we played that Warcraft 3 mod last night.
We did. We were doing a little bit of land. It is spring break right now up at Penn State University Park, State College, PA. Felt like the need to tell you all of that.
Zip code.
No, and we were up at a friend of ours' house, Manticles' house, who has been, if not on here, we may have seen him, we may have shown him play at some point. He's support for No Wombats, and he was having a little bit of a LAN at this house, and we were playing some old Warcraft 3 mods, because that's right, we're just a little bit retro. Not that retro, but a little bit retro. And we were playing Uther Party, and Worm War, and Pudge Wars, which is hysterical, and what you were just talking about, which was...
Yeah, it was like Pokemon World?
It was Pokemon World.
Actually,
for Warcraft
really
3. It was quite fun, and you can see right now I have Warcraft 3 landable right here. I can actually go and play that game if I really want to.
We gotta cast this game.
The
people are counting on us.
I kind of just want to play... I want to play Frozen Throne.
I don't think that should...
I'm just gonna...
Well, they'll keep playing because they've started already.
Yeah, I know.
It won't matter.
Of course, when you spectate in League of Legends, It's actually a feature that's been added to League of Legends fairly recently. One of my favorite features, finally, because while I was absent, it was really difficult to cast games of League of Legends, unless you were on the professional, or unless you were on the tournament server, they would call it, yeah. But spectator mode requires you to wait a delay of 3 minutes before you actually get into the game, which is important as hell, because of course, if you're spectating a game in real time, you can feed information about the other team's whereabouts to one team to give them an unfair advantage. In fact, we're not even streaming this right now. This recording you're watching is purely a recording, so the players playing the game, they don't even have a stream to tune into, despite the fact that the stream would still even be delayed by 4 minutes. About 4 minutes. Anyway, at this point, you may or may not be watching a split video. It depends on how long the game goes. If the game ends up being a really short game, like 20 minutes, 22 minutes, I can keep it all in the same video. Otherwise, I think I'll be cutting that one in two, just to reduce the file size of that MP4 just a little bit. And we'll go ahead and eliminate ourselves. We're going into full screen mode here. Just a sec for blue team TKS versus purple team Udderly Smooth in the quarterfinals of the Ryze Up 2012 tournament. That's right.